Hi guys, Flash Panda here. In this video, I'm going to share my personal martial arts tier list. Also, shout out to my amazing members. Thank you so much for your support. I'm just gonna rank the ones I'm familiar with, and skip the ones I don't really see, since Gauntlets just came out. I'll also rank some of the less common Gauntlets pairings. Let's start with Strategic Sword with Nameless Spear. I put it here. In this patch, Strategic Sword got a massive buff. You can pretty much freestyle your combos now, combined with Nameless Spear's stamina sustain, and its ability to counter tenacity builds. This build is back on top. Strategic Sword with Heaven Quaker Spear. I put it here. Both weapons are really strong, but they lack the ability to catch opponents. It should get a lot better once the catching mystic skills comes out later. Nameless Sword with Heaven Quaker Spear. I put it here. It has a good catching ability and a lot of tenacity. Unfortunately, the Heaven Quaker Spear nerf dropped its ranking a little bit. Double Swords. I put it here. It's basically a fundamentals check. There are no special mechanics. If your fundamentals are good, this build is strong. If not, it's pretty weak. Pure Nameless, I put it here. It's good both offensively and defensively, with basically no weaknesses. Double Spears, I put it here. It's really strong up close, but it still doesn't have good catch ability. Bambuka Dust, I put it here. After the combo stability improvements, more and more players started using it. It can pressure you from range, fight well up close, and keep switching position, which makes it really hard to deal with. Double Rope Darts, I put it here. This is a more defensive build, and both rope darts have been nerfed. Healer, I put it here. Even with the add offensive options, it's still pretty weak if neither side manages to take the other down. The winner is decided by damage dealt, not health remaining, but let's be nice and give it a spot on the tier list. Tank, I put it here. It got a small buff, but it didn't really change much. It should become stronger once the catch mystic skill comes out. Verna Umbrella with DPS fan. I put it here. That one risk-free guard break alone is enough to put it at this rank. Once it gets the opener, the stun makes it easy to melt through the opponent's HP bar. Twin Blades with Red Rope Dart. I put it here. It has incredible catch potential and explosive damage. Nameless Sword with Twin Blades. I put it here. A ruthless offensive machine. Humbleblade with its Blade. I put it here. It has tons of tenacity and insane damage. One mistake and you are basically dead. Humbleblade with Tank Spear. I put it here. It still has a lot of tenacity, but the nerfs to Tank Spear made it less dominant than before. Humbleblade with Old Blade. I put it here. It has decent survivability and okay damage, but overall it's pretty average. Nameless Sword with Humbleblade. I put it here. It has good catch potential and respectable damage. Humbleblade with Nameless Spear. I put it here. Humbleblade already has a lot of tenacity, and Nameless Spear can counter the opponent's tenacity as well. It's a really solid combination. Gauntlets with Humbleblade. I put it here. Both weapons perform well, and can handle both offense and defense, but they work better when they paired with other weapons separately. Gauntlets with its Rope Dart. I put it here. This Rope Dart has extremely fast startup speed, since it's a newly released weapon. Most players are still unfamiliar with it, so it's pretty easy to get the first hit. The official recommended pairing also allows Gauntlets to deal solid damage. Gauntlets with Twin Blades. I put it here. Twin Blades provide frequent catch opportunities. Combined with Gauntlet's evasive ability, it puts opponents in a lose-lose situation. Gauntlets with Tank Spear. I put it here. It has a golden glow opener and some tenacity, but the damage is a bit lacking. Gauntlets with DPS fan. I put it here. Both weapons have some really good mechanics, but not many people play this build, so it's probably still not fully explored yet. Gauntlets with Old Blade. I put it here. It has great survivability, but its offensive power is a bit lacking. Gauntlets with Nameless Sword. I put it here. It's a really strong offensive combination, but I'm not sure why so few people play it. Gauntlets with Red Rope Dart. I put it here. It can still wear opponents down pretty well, but Gauntlet's light attacks don't get used much, and Red Rope Dart is getting nerfed next patch. Gauntlets with Nameless Spear. I put it here. Gauntlets provide great flexibility. Combined with Nameless Spear's defense piercing ability, it makes a really strong combination. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.